Hey everybody, this is Croy, and I'm not real good at going live. This is kind of new to me, so I just thought I want to be helpful, and I'm sharing this message out with everybody just to make sure that everybody's good and doing what they need to do. I'm going to check first to make sure that I am on the right spot. Yes, I am. Okay. So, my name's Croy. I live in Ohio, and I'm the Director of Innovation Instruction for Port Clinton City Schools. I do some other things as well. I host a couple podcasts. One's called the Future Focus Podcast, and the other's called the Wired Educator Podcast. And I've been blessed over the years to travel and speak to school districts and businesses on the topics of leadership. And our country, our world is in a time of crisis right now. And I thought, what good am I sitting around in my house? I should be trying to help people who are concerned and worried about the way things are going. And so I decided today to do this Facebook Live leading in a time of crisis. So I'm going to talk about what good leadership is, what good leadership isn't. You may be thinking right now whether or not you are a leader. And I assure you that you are. You are either the leader inside your mind, you're the leader inside your home, you're the leader at an organization, and most importantly, in a time of crisis, like we need more leaders and we need others to step up. And so that's kind of what this live post is going to be all about. And so, leading in a time of crisis, one thing to keep in mind is that a crisis does not build character; it reveals it. And we are starting to find out who people really are, because things are getting a little more challenging for us and in our lives and other people's lives as well. And so the crisis at hand is letting us see the true character of our leaders and other people. And so I urge you to be authentic. Stay who you are and hold to your values. We're going to get through this. You are a leader, and right now you are really needed. All right, let me share a really important image with you, something that really helped me. One of my friends posted this on Facebook, and we have in our lives a circle of control. And if you take a look at this image right here, there's things that you can control, and there's things that you cannot control. And you really, right now, just need to buckle down and focus on the things that you can control. So what can you control? Well, your attitude, turning off the news, finding fun things to do at home, following the recommendations of real authorities like the CDC, not people on Facebook, okay? Because the people on Facebook don't know about COVID-19, but the CDC does. And so you got to limit some of your social media. You got to really focus on social distancing. Now, I don't know where you're at on this. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but you can't do social distancing some of the time. You got to buckle down, and there should be no interaction with other people. None. Not until we get this figured out. And you can also focus on your kindness and grace. Now, what are things you can't control? Well, I can't control COVID-19. I can't control the toilet paper at the store. I have no idea how long this is going to last. I can't control that. I can't control how other people are reacting to it. I can't control other people's motives, their greed, and things like that. I can't predict what will happen. That's something I really like to do. I like to try to figure everything out. I can't. I have no idea where this is going to go. And I really, really can't control the actions of other people. But I can influence those, and we're going to talk about it. So figure out what you can control and focus on that. And what you cannot control, we're just going to have to let that go. Our mind will go there from time to time, but we need to answer that question. Can I really control that? So I thought that was a really good image. I wanted to share that with you, and it's on my Facebook feed, and I hope it's helpful to you. Okay, so leadership to me is pretty simple, all right? Leadership right now in a time of crisis has two responsibilities. I'm going to tell you what that is. Leadership right now is about providing direction for others, and it is about creating a sense of calm and understanding. Okay? So right now, if you don't understand what is going on, and if you don't feel directed to know what to do, then you are not getting proper leadership. If you're not showing other people the way to go, okay, you're not being a good leader right now. A lot of people are really confused and they're really worried. And so they're running to the store and they're buying huge amounts of toilet paper. And I'm not even going to say whether that's right or wrong. I'm just going to tell you this. The reason that they're doing it is because they're not being led. They don't know what to do, and so they're trying to protect themselves and their families with what they think is best. And so a leader's job is to provide clarity and direction. And our job as leaders in our mind, in our home, in our organizations, in our community, is to provide clarity and direction. What is the reality of the situation, and what can we actually do about it? And so people who are responding in really bad ways either don't have clarity or they don't have direction. And so we need to look. Now, here in Ohio, I feel very blessed. Governor DeWine is providing good clarity and good direction. My superintendent of my schools is providing good clarity and good direction. I'm trying to provide good clarity and good direction within my home. Those are the two things that we really need to focus on right now. So you are a leader and you are needed. All right, I want to talk a little bit about COVID-19. I'm obviously not an expert, but I don't know where you are. I don't know where you're listening from. I don't know where your mind is on this right now, but here it is, okay? I don't know where you're located geographically. I don't know what you have decided in your mind is real or not, but I'm telling you, as your friend and as someone, you chose to be here, I'm going to tell you right now, don't go anywhere, all right? We can go a long time without food. Everybody's kind of in the comfort zone right now, like what's comfortable? Well, don't worry about what's comfortable right now. You need to focus on not going anywhere, not having interactions with other people, because we got to get this thing locked down. We need to clean up. When I come home from work, I strip down, I get into the shower, I clean my bag. We have antibacterial wipes. We wash up really well, and you need to do that too. And just because you're in your home, you need to keep everybody safe. Just because you're in there, you need to continue to wash up. I take my temperature first thing when I wake up and before I go to bed. These are just some of my practices. If you have to leave somewhere, if it's essential, man, you need to strip down and shower when you get back, and you need to wipe stuff down. I really encourage you to keep a routine. Like, I felt like not shaving today, but that routine is really important, to keep ourselves presentable and things. The best thing that we can all do is stay healthy right now. And I think, we're going to be in this for a while, but for the next 2 weeks, we just need to buckle up and share kindness with other people. My biggest fear, and I think the government's biggest fear, is that our hospitals are about to get rocked. Right now, this is still the calm before the storm, at least in my area. And I think very soon, I just read some information this morning that said in 3 weeks, the leading cause of death in Ohio is going to be COVID-19. Now that rattles me a little bit. That's why I'm not going to go anywhere, and that's why you shouldn't go anywhere either. All right, that's the mindset we really want to adopt right now. Now, positively, we're going to make it through this. There's no doubt in my mind. And not only are we going to make it through this, we're going to come out better on the other side. But still, there's going to be suffering and there's going to be bad things that happen. We want to limit that. And that's why we need leaders. That's why leading in a time of crisis is so important. This is our time. My whole life, I heard about the greatest generation that came after World War II. Why were they considered the greatest generation of our time? I'll tell you. It's how they responded to a crisis. World War II was an incredible crisis, and they responded to it with honor, with dignity, with hard work, with sanity, with a positive attitude. And really the attitude that made them the greatest generation was this: I will do whatever it takes to get me and my family and my community and my country through this. It was the proper mindset of growth. They didn't do what they were trained to do. They didn't do what was comfortable. They did what was needed. People had to do things that they weren't even trained to do. And they did it. And they did it in such a great way. They didn't focus on being comfortable. They sacrificed They made sacrifices in their lives so future generations would have what they needed. And that's what we need to do right now. Okay. Yesterday, we got to get innovative on here. I contacted a group of STEM teachers in my area. And I had read some report that there are some STEM teachers 3D printing masks and shields for hospitals and stuff. And I don't even know if we can do it or not. But I thought it was really worthwhile to reach out to other schools to see if that is a possibility. That's what you need to do as well. I received a message from a lady in a nearby town she doesn't even know how to sew, and she's trying to figure out a way to make her own masks and things like that. Whatever we can do for the common good to help other people out, I think is wonderful. Okay, so get innovative. The problem with innovation's greatest challenge is this: people get satisfied with their current way of doing things, and in a time of crisis, our current way of doing things isn't enough. And so we have got to get out of that. We have to be willing to understand that the way we do things is not going to work for the crisis that we are focusing on. We have to adapt, and we have to come up with a better mindset. Now, I want to talk about mindset. And this might be one of the most important pieces of this presentation, because this is where things get a little weird in our head. All right? So our thoughts determine our self-talk. And our self-talk creates feelings within our body. And how we feel determines what we do. And all of these things, our thoughts, our self-talk, our feelings, and our actions, that creates our mindset. And if you have a poor mindset, it is because of what you're thinking about, or how you're talking to yourself, or the feelings that you have, or the actions that you're taking. And so the good news is we have control of these. We really do. But one thing that drives them is input from social media and news. Okay? By taking in too much of this stuff, it determines what I'm thinking about. It determines how I'm talking to myself. It determines how I'm feeling and the actions that I'm taking. So we really need to limit that. All right? We really need to limit it and be careful. If I am starting to feel anxious, all right, down here at the bottom, then I need to change the way that I'm talking to myself or what I'm doing with my body. Okay? The circle works both ways. So take a good look at this chart, and if you're feeling a certain way, if you're having certain thoughts that you don't like, you can impact them with what you are thinking about. All right? Now, I've been working on a book for quite a while. Who knows? Maybe this... let me find the image. Maybe this time, right now, will allow me to finish the book that I want. But the book is on mindfulness, and it's really written for children, but probably is going to be good for anybody who needs it. And right now, we all need some mindfulness. We need to get off our devices. But here's how mindfulness works. We have 3 selves. Okay, our thoughts are either on our past, on our future, or on our present. And when our thoughts are on our past, often those thoughts create feelings of regret, depression, or sadness. When our thoughts are on the future, it often creates feelings of anxiety, worry, and fear. Now, we're naturally going to go through these 3 areas of mindfulness and thought: past, present, and future. That's just the way our brain works. But we often don't take time for that middle one, the now, where we focus on our breathing and that we think and focus on gratitude. And what that does, it gives our brain a pause and a break and allows us to kind of reset. We can end some of the anxiety, worry, and fear. We can end some of that regret, depression, and sadness. And mindfulness does not have to be this whole complex system. You don't need to listen to a podcast on it. You don't need to read a book on it. You need to sit down and you need to not think about stuff, even just for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes would be fantastic. But even a minute of just sitting in a chair and closing your eyes and trying not to think about stuff, that's mindfulness. And here's some techniques that I use. If you can't turn everything off because there's so much going on in your mind, just think about one thing. And so I learned from Matthew Kelly something called the meditation of the rose. And sometimes when my brain has a bunch of things going on, I will just think about a single rose. All right. From another author, I heard about a black submarine going through a black ocean. All right. That helped me create an image. Basically, you're thinking about nothing. But that's what mindfulness is. And you don't need to, sit there and fold your legs and hold your hands a certain way and chant or anything like that. It's just thinking about less. It's teaching your mind to focus inward. And really what you want to do is focus on your breaths, and you want longer breaths. When we're anxious, our breaths get really quick and they speed up. When we have depression, our breaths is irregular and gets very slow, and there's no rhythm to it. When you're in the now, when you're in that mindfulness state, you think about a 3 to 4 second breathe in, a 3 or 4 second hold, a 3 or 4 second exhale, a 3 or 4 second hold, then kind of repeat that process. And it's rhythm and it's timed, and it helps your brain focus and become mindful. And so that's been really helpful for me, and it's part of the book that I've been writing, Unthink Before Bed. And I just wanted you to see that. So if you're feeling regret, depression, or sadness, your thoughts are on the past, and you need to focus on what you're grateful for right now and focus on your breathing. If you're feeling anxious or fearful or having some worry, you're probably thinking too much about the future, and you need to get to the now and focus on your breathing and review the things that you're grateful for. So I wanted to review that with you. I think that's really important. What I really wanted to talk about today is leadership, leading in a time of crisis. And I wrote a book, Along Came a Leader, in 2015, and I talk about, I talk about 6 core tenets of leadership. And if you look at the bottom of this chart, you can see them. They are attitude, wisdom, tenacity, communication, vision, and authenticity. Those are the really 6 most important tools of leadership, core values, all right? And you are a leader, okay? And here's what you got to do. The difference between a title of leadership and a position of leadership is what you do. There are a lot of people who have a title of leadership, but they're not very good leaders. Someone has bestowed with them a position of authority. That doesn't necessarily make them a leader. What makes them a leader are these 6 core actions. Do they have a good attitude? Are they practicing wisdom? And are they being tenacious? And are they communicating clearly? And do they have a solid vision? And are they authentic? That is what leadership is all about. All right? So it doesn't matter if you have a title of leadership or not. You are a leader in your mind, in your home, or in your organization. And in a time of crisis, we need more leaders. So don't worry about whether you have a title of leadership or not. You have to clarify who it is that you're leading. Right now, you may just be leading yourself, or you may have children, all right? Or you may have people that are looking to you for clarity, and they're looking for you for direction. And so you have a responsibility to them. It is important that you work on understanding what their needs are. What are their wants? What are their challenges right now? Don't assume. Ask them. What are they afraid about? And see if you can give them either clarity or direction on those. It's our job to provide clarity and direction. When a leader is absent, and there is a lot of leadership absent right now in this time of crisis, or we see poor leadership being taken, other leaders emerge. It might be you, and that's why I titled my book, Along Came a Leader, because at some point in life, you need to show up as the leader. And maybe it's you right now. People seek clarity. People seek direction, and they'll search for it. And when they can't find it, they'll fill it in with some gap. All right, so let's take a look at each one of these. Attitude. People are watching you, and we need to build a better attitude. This is paramount right now in a time of crisis. If you have a bad attitude in a time of crisis, you're not only a poor leader, you're hurting other people, all right? So how can I work on my attitude? I'm nervous. I'm scared of what's going to happen. Well, it's easy. You create a routine. You get in the shower. You take care of yourself. You create a compelling vision for yourself and for others. You smile, okay? You summon the attitude that is needed. And you work on your response. Your response is greater than your reaction of going on. Often people just want to react to the events. Hey, we're out of toilet paper, or I'm worried about what the news is going to be on. Those are all reactions. We need to stop, we need to reflect, and we need to come up with a good response. So when you're doing that, when you're looking at the situation, what you got to ask yourself is what I'm looking at accurate? Is it within my control? How does it impact those that I lead? And what is needed now? And these are very important questions to ask. And you'll find what you seek. If you are seeking dark news about COVID-19, you're going to find it because we got the internet and it's out there. If you're seeking the symptoms of COVID-19, you're going to find them. It's available for you. But if you're seeking a positive attitude, if you're seeking some good news, you'll find that too. Whatever you're looking for, you will find. And so you have to be careful about what it is that you want to seek. If you want to freak out, it's out there. You can find it. Don't go for that. Control your mind and review those steps of the mindset that I talked about a little bit. You know, what you're thinking about, how you're talking to yourself about it, how you're feeling about it, and the actions, the things that you're doing with your body. I worry a lot of people are just sitting home right now and they're not doing a lot. And so you work that circle backwards, that mindset backwards. And if you're not doing a lot, then you're going to start to feel kind of bad. And then you're going to start to talk to yourself in negative ways. And then your thoughts are going to be bad. And so we've got to keep moving. We got to stay in there. All right. So an attitude is the most important ingredient of leadership. If a leader does not have a good attitude, everybody is going to suffer from that. So build a good attitude. The next one. There it is. I'm sorry. I minimized that image a little bit. The next one is wisdom. Where are you getting your information? If you're looking for information on COVID-19 or symptoms or things like that on Facebook, guess what? The quality of that information is awful. And so that is not a good source. And so wisdom is really important. Find valid sources for leadership. Find valid sources for medical information. Don't rely on low areas. If you want to learn about people as dogs and families and stuff, Facebook might be a good place to go. But we really have to control where we're getting our information from. Who are your trusted advisors? Where will you go for information? That's important. And you need to pass that along to those that you lead as well. How are you going to limit your intake of info in? I'm really bad at this. I do like to get on social media. I do like to watch the news. I do like to stay up to date. And thankfully, my wife really helps me with that. She reminds me that I need to limit myself. And you need to limit yourself. How can you limit the amount of information you're taking in? Okay? And then you have to be able to discount some of it. Okay? Just because it's printed or being shared doesn't make it accurate. And so you need some sort of filter. I use other people. I have a great set of board of directors that I contact for various different things, and I bounce ideas off of them, and they let me know if that's a valid concern or not. My wife is on that board of directors too. Who do you surround yourself with? That's really important. So wisdom is incredibly important in leadership in a time of crisis. The next one's tenacity. And I fear people are home right now. We're doing a lot of remote learning, remote work, and people's tenacity is going to drop. Okay? So a typical person, tenacity is absent. Better, moments of greatness, but sporadic, hit and miss. But excellence in tenacity is people who see projects to completion with energy, high spirits, and they make finishing projects an event. So you got to set some goals right now. You have got to set some goals and have a vision of what this time period is going to be. It could last longer than we want. And so tenacity is really important. How can you keep your tenacity? tenacity. Well, a lot of that has to do with energy and rest. If you're staying up till 3 in the morning looking at a Twitter feed, your tenacity level is just going to drop. All right. Tenacity is the ability to stick with something until it's successful. And you have to be tenacious right now. This might be one of the greatest survival qualities that a leader can have, is being tenacious. If your business or finances is being rocked right now because of COVID-19, then you really need to be tenacious. You need to stick after it. Don't wave the white flag. Don't throw in. If your health is in jeopardy, man, you need tenacity. You got to stay after it. Tenacity is incredibly important. You got to have a routine. You got to have goals. You got to keep advertising to your brain, because right now everything is advertising negativity to you. Everything is. And it's all coming in, and it's all impacting what you're thinking about, what you're saying to yourself, how you're feeling, and the actions that you're taking. So you have to hit pause, and you have to start advertising to yourself. You have to come up with little sayings, surround yourself with good quotes and good thoughts. Put on some awesome music, all right? Watch a funny show. Take breaks. This is important. Tenacity needs energy. Everything is feeding your mind, and you control what you feed it. I really like the idea of setting some compelling goals right now. I just got an email just a second ago from a guy that I follow on Twitter, and he's really encouraging. If you like to write, I like to write. That this is a good time to really get some writing done. I like that. If there's something that you want to accomplish, this could be a great opportunity for that. You could come out of this fatter, or you could come out of this being more fit. But most importantly, we just want to stay healthy. I'm not trying to make light of any of this, because I really do feel in a few weeks things are going to be a lot more seriousness. I'm just trying to help people lead in a time of crisis. All right. I also think you need to use transformative language. And by that, you need to analyze how you talk about things and the word and phrasing that you use. That's really important. If you're using negative words, you're going to have a negative mindset. So if you hear someone else phrasing something in a really negative way or using negative words, I encourage you to stop them and say, you know what? There's a different way we can say that. There's a different way that we can refer to this. And I think we need to try to be as realistically positive as possible. All right? Rather than saying, I think I'll get some exercise today, find a more compelling and transformative way of saying, I'm going to get down the floor, I'm going to bust out 100 push-ups before I go to bed today. And that kind of talk gets you fired up. Who are you spending time with? The other day, I was feeling a little anxious, and so it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, man, I'm kind of getting a little freaked out here. And so I called up one of my buddies who just, his name's Rich Baird, and he just has a great way of looking at life. And I felt better after talking to him. Do you have somebody like that? Then you need to touch base with them, check in on them, and if that person makes you feel better, then that's the person you need to reach out to. This is a great time to reach out to other people. Okay. Also, don't overdo it. A lot of people are creating all these schedules and a million things to do and a million goals. I like goals. I like routines. But man, don't overdo it. Don't be freaking out trying to get everything done. That's also not healthy. All right, I'm going to jump into the next one. This is a huge one, especially for those you lead, and it's the column of communication. Communication should be clear, compelling. In the absence of communication, people will fill in the blanks. All right, so typical communication is inconsistent, it's scattered, and infrequent. Better communication is where we go back and we correct miscommunication, and we work hard to reach everyone. But excellent communication is clear, is inspiring, is swift, it's concise, and it's personal. And I want you, being a leader in a time of crisis, to provide excellent communication for yourself, for your family, and those you lead. Make some inspiring words and send them to your staff. Share them with your family members, and be clear about it. Don't let them guess. Remember, everybody wants clarity and direction, and that's something we don't have in a time of crisis. So leaders must provide that. Okay? I ask you this question. What are you telling your people? Because if you're not telling your people something, they're telling themselves something. They're going to fill in that gap with some sort of information. Not communicating is communicating. We also communicate with our face and our body expression. If you're carrying around a lot of anxiety and worry on your face, it's being communicated to other people. They can see it. If your posts on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all these other places are panicky, you're sending a message to those that you lead. And so we're constantly communicating how we dress and how we prepare. So be very careful about that. They're listening to you, but are you really communicating, or are you just saying things? We are always communicating. This next one is my favorite. It's vision. Vision is so important because right now, and I'm going to pull this up so you can see me. This is really important. Lean in on this one. Everybody needs something to look forward to, right? Everybody's worried. High school seniors, they have missed so much. College seniors have missed so much. No prom, graduation. My daughter, she wants to drive. She wants to get her driver's license. We don't know when these things are going to happen. All right. And so as a leader, what we can do is we can provide a compelling and an enchanting vision to others. Give them something to look forward to. Typical vision is you tell me. It's vague. It's dull. A better vision is trying to get everybody on the same page. But an excellent vision, wow, that's enchanting. That draws me in. It's clear. It's unified. Everyone knows their role. And I challenge you right now, create a vision for your family, create a vision for your organization where people have clarity, they have direction, and they want to be a part of it. They have something to look forward to. Even if that date changes, give everybody something to look forward to. That might be one of the most important parts of leading in a time of crisis. Leaders create a vision that people want to be in, and they create a vision of hope. They create an event like, hey, we're going to get together and we're going to do this at this time. They also piece them out. It's not just one and done. They have smaller bits of vision, things that we can check off and celebrate, and then a big culminating event. You need to sit down and figure out what that vision is. What are the little pieces that we can celebrate along the way? And then what are we going to celebrate when it is? If your business is getting rocked right now, you need to send a message to your employees about what the end goal is going to look like and the pieces that we're going to do along the way. Even if there's a lot of bad news in there, that's going to be very helpful for them. What can you do to create something for people to look forward to? Now, there's a lot of disruption going on in the world, a lot. That means it's a time to innovate, all right? Everything's getting disrupted. Banking, stock market, education, gyms. You cannot find an area in the world that's not being disrupted by COVID-19, and rightfully so. We need to stay where we're at. We need to stay healthy and not spread this. But this also provides a time to innovate. It's a time to seize some opportunities. Right now, your family is disrupted. It cannot do the things that it's normally doing. Okay? So that's the disruption. What can your family innovate on to bring them together? We see that every day. Families are doing things together like they've never done it before. That's innovation. We need more of it. If your business is being disrupted, I'm sorry. That is very sad. I wish I knew more about business to help you. But I can tell you this. It's also a time to innovate. There are some solutions. They're not as great as the way that you were doing it, but there are solutions. Innovation's greatest challenge is that people are too comfortable with their current way of doing things. Innovation is about doing things in a new way. And so you need to get some paper out, and you need to think of some new ways to do it. Restaurants are just getting rocked right now because no one's allowed to go in, and nobody should. Don't go to a restaurant. But you can go through the carryout. You can get takeout. There can be a certain number of people inside there. You just need to be careful. You need to clean things off. I'm choosing to only do essential exits of the home. But businesses can do things innovatively to help people out. There are social disruptions, and this is an area that I'm struggling. Our way to interact with other people is just It's not as fun. We like to be around other people. As much as we like to be on our phones and iPads and computers and things like that, we also like to be around other people. So there's a social disruption. Well, we're going to have to get more innovative about that. And there's also a financial disruption going on. There's just a lot of people being rocked, but there's also some opportunities there as well. The final piece is authenticity. And this is going to make you or break you as a leader. Okay? So if you're an authentic leader, you are the same person no matter what the situation that arises. You hold yourself to an incredibly high standard, personally and professionally. All right? People know and can trust you. High levels of trust. And we need to keep our authenticity. Be who you say you are. Live the way that you talk. Leaders last only as long as their authenticity. And you got to be you. And you got to work at being the best version of yourself. You got to work at being a better you. And that's the mindset that we want. It's a growth mindset. And you just got to let people know, hey, I'm going to try to make the best decisions that I can right now. Not all of them are going to be awesome. I'm going to make some mistakes. But I need you to know that the decisions that I do make, I'm doing it in the best interest of all people. All right. And finally, I just want to leave this. You need to take care of you. You got to eat right. You got to keep moving. You got to rest. You got to turn your mind off with mindfulness. Turn the news and social media off. You don't need 24-hour updates. Pick a time each day. Our governor comes on around 2 or 2:30. I really enjoy listening to his updates because he's level-headed and clear. He provides clarity and he provides direction. I like those updates. Having the news on in the background, not good. Set limits. Who are you going to trust and believe right now? Shower, shave, keep your routine. And most importantly, and this is just me, stay away from people, period. Don't make any exceptions to it. We've got to just lock it down and stay home. Now, you're a really special person for watching this. I want you to know that. I think that's amazing that you took time out of your day with all the things going on that you're watching this. And that's awesome. You're part of an elite group in the world that really wants to get better, and it's taking time to do it. And you want to help other people. So I thank you for that. I hope you check out my blog and my podcasts and all the projects that I'm working on. But most importantly, I hope that you step up and lead. Lead your family, lead yourself, help lead your organization. We all need to take a deep breath. And you have advantages. You have things to be grateful for. And there are some good things in your life. And we need to give thanks for that. I think the next couple of weeks are going to be rough. But we have a lot to be thankful for. And we just need to be great leaders. If I can be of any help to any of you, I hope you'll go to my website, kellycroy.com. You can find ways to connect with me. And hey, I would love to be helpful. We're in this together. Leading in a time of crisis is really important. I hope you learned something today. And I thank you so much for being part of this. I may do an update later. We'll see how this one goes, but that's it. Again, I'm the father of 4 girls, and one of them got sent home from college. One of them has an immune deficiency issue. 2 are young. It's presenting a lot of challenges to me. I need to lead them. I'm also trying to help my school district and all the families in it. And I'm also trying to help a lot of other organizations. I'm not doing just what I was trained to do. I'm doing what our time is calling for. And this is our time. And so you may be tasked to do some things that you weren't trained to do, or you may not even want to do. But this is our time, and we have to rise to the occasion. So with that, I thank you for being on here, and I hope you share it out. And if I can answer any questions, please reach out to me. Stay healthy, stay home, wash your hands, wipe things down, take this very seriously, and get that message out to not just the people you love, but all that you know, that they need to stay home right now. Okay? Peace be with you, and stay healthy.